Hey everyone, how are you? And welcome back to my channel. I'm so excited that you are back. I'm excited to be back for the second video. Really excited. So today I thought that I would just chat with you guys and just talk a little about myself and kind of just, get to know me a bit, because I'm pretty sure you guys are like, who is this girl and why is she here? So I figured, why not just tell you a little bit about me? So yeah, let's go ahead and get started. So, as you can tell by the name of my channel, my name is Christina. I am the creator of Unleash Your Truth. I do in-person and online workshops focusing on self-love, self-growth, and empowerment. I have also published and I have designed and published 2 self-love journals, which I'm really excited and very proud of. So yeah, I am a mother. I have 3 kids. I have been married for 15 years. My husband and I have been together for 15 years. Wasn't always a rough first 8 years, I want to say. A lot of work to get to where we are now, but we did it. And in that time, in the beginning of our relationship, it's what really shifted and kind of started this journey for me. Into my own self-love and my self-growth journey. So, I was young when he and I both got together. He was 20, I was 21, he was 20. And I was 20, I lie. I was 20 and he was 19. And we dated. We were young, of course. We didn't know how to be in a relationship. We didn't know how to emotionally support each other. And, we were both very selfish in our own ways. And then I got pregnant very young. I had our firstborn. And then 18 months later, I had our second. And then 3 years later, we had our third. So we have 2 boys and a girl. It was boy, girl, boy. Our middle child is our daughter. So yeah, she's a tough cookie, but I love them all. But really, in our relationship, our relationship, the struggle with it was really just expecting the other person to make each other happy. We were always expecting the other person to change, always expecting the other person to do the thing, right? Nobody was ever taking responsibility. No one was ever being held accountable for their own actions. And, it was very, it wasn't bad, right? But we had, our arguments, I think both of us just kind of started to drift away. And I think the one point that I talk about and what really started this journey for me was, after a few years, I was working the graveyard shift. My youngest was, I want to say, almost a year, or probably a year already. And he and I were always constantly fighting. I was always tired all the time, because I would work the graveyard shift, come home, and then have to get the kids ready to go to school. And then I couldn't go back to, I couldn't sleep because the baby, he was little, so I had to feed him, and when he would nap, I would nap. So it was I was very tired. And he was had his own thing going on, his own frustrations. And it just got to this breaking point for me. This one night, we had gotten into an argument, and I got in my car and left to work, and I cried the whole way to work. And I remember just crying and just asking God and just speaking out loud, like, I don't want this for myself. I don't want this for my kids. I don't want to continue my life in this direction. Like, this cannot be it. Like, please, what do I need to do to change this? What do I need to do to be happy? Because I'm not happy, And I went to work, and a few days after that, he and I decided to go our own separate way. The kids and I moved into an apartment. He stayed where he was at, and we just kind of continued that way for a few months. He left to join the military. I stayed with the kids. And when I was at home with the kids, I focused on myself in a way where I focused on what made me happy again. I reconnected with old friends again. I started dancing again. I love dance. I danced in high school, and I missed it. That was kind of my therapy. And I found that again. I was happier. I was, I was exercising. had more time with the kids. I was happier. It's kind of shifted that for me. Yes, granted, after he got out of the military and a few months, we didn't get back together right away. It took us a while to get back together again. I want to say like a year maybe. He was in a different state, and we were still in California. We're from California, by the way. And he had came to visit. And the funny thing is that the whole time he was gone in a different state, we would talk over the phone. We would just talk like friends. We realized that we were never really friends with each other. We didn't know how to be best friends. And through just talking and, talking about the kids and stuff like that, it really helped us to reconnect again and to really build that foundation for our relationship and that friendship. Right now he's my best friend. Anything exciting happens, any news, whether sad or happy, whatever, he's the first person I go and talk to, right? He's my biggest supporter and vice versa. But yeah, we ended up getting back together again. And this time, we decided, let's get married. If we're going to do it, we're going to do it right. And so we decided to do it that way. And the kids and I eventually moved out to Colorado where he was. And, right now we're in Virginia. And we've been going strong. It's been, I think, 8 years since we got back together. So it's been 7 years and then split and then 8 years together. So the past few years have been amazing. When we think about it, it's like we don't even know who those old versions of ourselves are, right? Because they're so different than who we are now, that it's just thinking about some of the things I've said and did, it was like, oh my gosh, like I can't even believe it sometimes. But I don't judge myself for it. And that was pretty much how I started that journey for myself. My self-love journey was when I needed to remove myself from the situation. I needed to make the choice to do what I needed to do to start changing the direction of my life. And granted, things didn't, fall into place right away, and it was this happily ever after. It wasn't. I still had a lot of work to do. I still had a lot of growth. I still had a lot of emotional maturity that I had to work on. And, I still had a lot of stuff from my childhood that I needed to heal from. I still had stuff from past relationships I needed to heal from. And, it's just a lot of things that I needed to work on. And, for me, this growth has been so amazing. And I'm so happy that I'm on this journey. And, this is always going to be a journey no matter what for the rest of my life, because as I grow, my situations, my circumstances, challenges are going to arrive, and I'm going to have to shift and adapt. And, with that comes the growth. So it's just now I know that I have such a solid foundation in who I am and where I want to go, that anything that comes my way, I'm going to be fine. I know that I can handle it. And I know who I am and what I stand for. And I know that I have my husband there to support me and encourage me no matter what. So that's a little bit of my journey and how I started. It's been quite the journey, I might say. It's along this journey, especially in the beginning, when we moved out to Colorado, it was different. We're from California, San Diego specifically. And when we moved out from California into Colorado, it was like, I knew nobody. I knew no one. He had his friends because he had already been there for a while. But I knew nobody. So it was a shock for me. It was exciting and scary at the same time. I'm a very introverted person, so I didn't need to have friends right away. So I was okay with it, but I'm glad that we were kind of just had to move our relationship to a different state, because when we did that, we really had to, if we had an argument, we had to talk it out. There's no running away from it. There's no me going to my mom's house because I'm mad. There's no me leaving to go talk to a friend in the middle of an argument. No, if we had an argument, we were going to talk it out, and we were going to, figure out a solution together. We had to depend on each other, right? Because we only had each other. So, we learned so much. And then of course through everything else, and I'm a very firm believer in when you look for something, you're gonna find it. When you're on the search for things for growth, the right people, the right videos, the right books and podcasts are always you're gonna come across that. That's always gonna come across your path. And I think that's what happened to me in starting this path. Was all these things started popping up for me, right? I started listening to audiobooks. I started listening to podcasts. I started listening to motivational YouTube videos, right? And I started joining Facebook groups. And through one of the Facebook groups is where I learned journaling, right? I learned journaling. I learned meditation. I learned tapping. I learned so many different techniques and tools to use on my journey. And I love them all. I don't do all of them because I didn't feel like I resonated with some of them, and some of them I did. For example, journaling. Journaling was the one thing that really resonated with me most, because for me, it was easier for me to express what I'm feeling and to write it all down and to kind of just work my way through it with my writing and writing it out, right? So that journaling is the one thing that really helped in my own growth journey to really grow as fast as I did. I've been doing this for probably about 5 years, I want to say. And, I'm constantly growing, and it's exciting because sometimes I don't see it in myself, but others do see it. And especially my husband, he makes it a point to tell me how he's seen how much I've grown, and it's nice to hear that once in a while. And I don't ask for it and I don't need it, but it's nice to hear it once in a while. But yeah, and it's been fun too. I think that's the misconception of this journey is, especially, let me backtrack here. So the misconception is that it's going to be this fun, exciting thing, and it is, but it can be difficult, right? I like to say there's a lot of dirty work that goes into it. It's a lot of reliving past memories that you kind of don't want to relive. Kind of just having to dig deep into those things in our subconscious that we try to hide from and push down. And I had to face a lot of those. I did have to go see therapy. And, I'm huge with therapy. I always tell people, yeah, journaling can work. Meditation can only take you so far. But sometimes you need professional help, and there's nothing wrong with that, And it's funny because journaling is the reason why I started therapy, because something came up for me in my writing that I couldn't work through it on my own. And so I sought out professional help. But yeah, so that's a little bit about me. I'll add my kids' pictures on here. So let me go over my kids real quick. So we have Christian, who is the oldest. We have Maya, it's my shorty. And then we have Adrian, who is our boo. We call him our boo-boo. And then my husband, Jose. But yeah, we're in Virginia now. Which is way different than being out on the West Coast. It's still beautiful in its own unique way, but nothing like living out in California, I'll tell you that. But we're really excited because we're in the process right now of getting out completely of the military and heading back home to California. So I'm really excited to be back home, to be out in the sun all the time, to be at the beach. I love the beach. We've been to the beach out here in the East Coast, but it's just so different. It's just, I can't even explain how, and it's kind of like, how can a beach be different? And it just feels different for us when we were there. Even the kids were like, I don't know, it just feels weird. So we haven't really been out there. I think we went out there twice in like the 3 years we've been here. But it is beautiful out here. I do love the seasons changing, watching the trees change. It's beautiful. Colorado though, I love Colorado. The snow season was amazing. I remember the first snow season we were there was just like this whole new world for me and the kids, but we loved it so much. But yeah, we loved it and we enjoyed it. I do miss the snow. Oddly enough, I do, even though I hated driving in it. I was always so scared, honestly. But yeah, so I'm gonna let you guys go. Have a good week. Don't don't forget to like this video and subscribe. I got some great videos coming up for you guys. So throughout this channel, I kind of wanted to have some videos that are more structured, you know, and some of them that are just kind of go with the flow. But yeah, I'm excited to be here, and I'm excited for you guys to be here again. And I will see you guys again soon. Bye.